What's up with it, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Raider Honcho, and I'm back with a brand new video for you. So let's talk about high expectations. And when you're talking about high expectations, I'm going to simplify it and talk about the high expectations of Trevon Moehrig. Obviously, our second round pick, who I, like many others, thought he would be a first round pick. So I'm super excited that we got him in the second round because it feels like we didn't reach. Even on the backhand of that, we kind of reached for Leatherwood, if you want to say that. I don't even care, man. The draft is over. Let's keep it moving. So when you talk about the expectations for the Las Vegas Raiders, you know the expectations are high. You know there's high expectations on Derek Carr. There's high expectations on the offensive side of the ball. There's also high expectations for Gus Bradley and John Gruden to see what they're going to do. But I don't think there's any more expectations that are higher than those of Trevon Moehrig. Now, before we get too far into the video, make sure y'all check out Raiderhoncho.com. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Both are at Raider Honcho. And anytime in this video, if you feel like you enjoyed the video, hit that like button for me. When you talk about the expectations of Trevon Moehrig, you're talking about high. I'm talking about super high. I'm talking about high when you put something in the microwave and walk away and come back and you realize you didn't even turn the microwave on. I'm talking about high like when you're using your phone to look for your phone. I'm talking about the expectations are super high. Not that I know too much about being high, but I'm just saying. Okay, the expectations are super high. And Understandably, and I don't want to say he has a lot of pressure on him because I'm not sure if the pressure is there because, I mean, this is a guy that was handpicked by the Raiders. This is a guy that the Raiders traded up to get. So I think that they're going to take their time in making sure that he is what he's supposed to be, okay? So I know the expectations are high, but I don't know if the pressure is there. Now, the expectations are high because, well, let's face it, we think that he's really good. We think that he's really good. And when you think you got a player that's really good and also you get a player that you feel like you wanted in the draft, you just expect big things. And when you bring in Gus Bradley, when you bring in Don Miles, when you bring in all these other players that you brought in to bolster that defense, to help that defense get better, it's only right that the expectations follow. I mean, to much is given, much is tested. So when you're giving the opportunity and you're giving the talent, the expectations are going to come, right? And when you think about how bad our defense has been, I think it's been since 2006 since we've had a top 10 defense, which ranks, I think, 30th in the entire NFL with the most seasons without a top 10 defense. And we've also had consistently bad secondaries. I mean, when was the last time we had a secondary that all four DBs, right, safeties and corners, or 5 DBs if you're going to put the nickel in there. When was the last time we had a secondary which actually, like, when the ball went in the air, you didn't hold your breath? Like, when was the last time we had a secondary that other quarterbacks actually feared? And now we're starting to put a secondary together that can potentially be that, so the expectations are going to be higher. And I think Trevon Moehrig is the anchor to all that. I like Mullen. I like Hayward. I like Abram. And everybody knows I love Arnett. So it's kind of like he's the guy that, like, now was the glue to put all those other pieces together and keep them together and keep this thing going in the right direction. And not only have we had consistently bad secondaries, but we've had consistently bad picks in the secondary positions. Like, we've had consistently drafted players in the secondary that just don't seem to pan out. So it makes sense that it's like now we finally got a guy who we all think is a playmaker and a day one starter. Before we pick guys and we're like, not really sure about him. I'm not really sure about that guy. But this is a guy in Trevon Moehrig that we believe we got the right guy. We got the guy for the job. And we've had consistently bad defenses. We've had consistently bad secondaries. We had consistently bad picks in the secondary. And we've consistently had no real alpha in the secondary. I mean, the last alpha we really had in the secondary was probably Charles Woodson, right? And I know that, I think that was, 2015? And I know that a lot of guys think Jonathan Abram is an alpha. He's an alpha in spirit. He's an alpha in, I'll put my head down and run through a brick wall type of alpha. But he might not be the type of alpha that gets everybody else going, that everybody believes in, that everybody will follow into that war, into those trenches. I'm not sure if he's that type of alpha. I think he's the type of alpha on the front line that's like, yo, we're about to get it cracking. He's going to jump out there first. But sometimes the alpha might not jump out there first, but he has the game plan to make sure whoever does jump out there first also comes back, right? You understand what I'm saying with that? I think that Trevon Moehrig's expectations are going to be high because, yes, he did win the Jim Thorpe Award for the best defensive back in the country for the 2020 season, but I also think he's the best Jim Thorpe winner since probably Minka Fitzpatrick. So the last 10 years, I think that outside of Minka, he's probably the best Jim Thorpe winner, in my opinion. So, of course, when the talent matches the name, the expectations are going to be higher. And like I said, when you talk about a new DC, a new DB coach, and new DBs, when you think about all the people we've brought in, Trevon Moehrig fits the bill of what we needed the most. We needed a ball-hawking safety. We needed somebody who can patrol back there and play those games. Now, some people don't understand that playing safety is like playing a game within a game. Because when you're corner, you're worried about the receiver or the zone. When you're linebacker, you're worried about the quarterback and running backs. When you're lineman, you're worried about the line. Like, these are your number one priorities. Like, as a safety, as a single high safety, your priority is like playing the game within the game. You're watching the quarterback's reads. You're watching how the linemen are blocking down, standing up, how they're coming out of their blocks, pass run calls. You're looking at the running backs. You're looking at the wide receivers. You're watching everything. You're playing a game within the game. And then on top of that, you're also trying to bait the quarterback into doing certain things. If you got a quarterback that's too greedy, you, as a safety, you're trying to bait him into trying to take too much and take more than he's really getting, right? So when you look at some of the strengths of Trevon Moehrig and you look at what he has going on, some of my favorite strengths is his recovery speed. Now, some of you guys are looking at his 40 time. You don't even run a 4.5, but that's also because I think he was injured during his pro day. I think he's a 4.4 guy. But when you talk about recovery speed, that gives you the ability to erase mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all human. He's not going to play perfect games. But what happens is when you have the ability to recover, when you have recovery speed, when you're good in and out of your transitions, you can erase mistakes. You can make yourself right even when you're wrong. And I think that's one of Trevon Moehrig's biggest attributes is his recovery speed and able to erase mistakes. He also is great at tracking the ball but staying on balance. And some people will be like, well, what the hell does balance have to do with tracking the ball? Listen, what I mean by that is he has the ability to track the ball, stay balanced in order to make plays on the ball. Now, you'll have a lot of DBs in the NFL, and especially the Raiders. The Raiders always have guys like this that can track the ball, and they're always next to the ball when it's coming down. They're always in the vicinity to make the play, but they never make the play. And that's because although they're tracking the ball, they're out of control. When they're out of phase or in phase, they're not in control of themselves. They're not staying in balance. They're not staying in a position to be able to make a play on the ball. Trevon Moehrig does that. Trevon Moehrig not only can play in phase or out of phase, meaning when he's beaten and when he's not beat, he also can track the ball and stay balanced to make a play on the ball. And when you talk about his range and his height and his length, he's rangy, lengthy, like he can make plays on the football because he stays in position to make plays. It doesn't matter if you're close to the receiver when the ball's coming down. If you don't know how to be in position to actually make a play where you got to turn your hips, open your hips, get your hand up, get your head around, you have to be able to do that. And he has full body control when he's out of phase, and that's what I love about that. Like I said, he also has great transitions while the quarterback is making progressions. So you're weaving this way, you're weaving that way. Usually as a safety, when the ball snaps, you're going to bounce, and then you're going to start weaving a backpedaling to where the quarterback is going. He's great in and out of those transitions. Like if he's starting left and going right, if he has to stop, T-step, or T-plant come forward, he's really good at dropping his hips. He's really smooth in transitions to get all over the field where he needs to go. All right, he knows how to change his gears, drop his hips, and get downfield and make plays on the ball, whether it's tackling or breaking up passes. But one of the things that I love the most about Trevon Moehrig is his quickness. And I'm not talking about his quickness in running. I'm talking about his quickness here in processing information. His ability to process information, to me, is why I wanted him so much in the draft, because he processed the information faster than every other safety in the country, in my opinion, and he also processes that information faster than a lot of safeties in the NFL already. I mean, when he was getting when he was getting scouted for the NFL draft, there was an NFC scout that was a scout for a certain NFC team who said, when I watched him play, I thought he was already better than the safeties we have on our roster. And it's not necessarily because of his size or his speed or tackling. It's because when you see a guy that can process the information, when you can process the information fast on what the quarterback is trying to do. All right, is the quarterback trying to go deep? He's trying to go short? Is it in routes, out routes? Whatever the case may be. When you got a guy who can register and process that information faster, he's good in and out of his transitions. Once he processes the information, is it run pass, is it post, is it deep? Once he does that, and then the ability to track the ball and make a play on the ball. There was no safety in college football that made more plays on the football than Trevon Moehrig, and that's a fact, and that's why I'm super excited to get him. Now, another thing as a DB coach, and a former DB, you hear coaches say he's a guy I don't have to worry about. And that's what you want. You want a guy you don't have to worry about. You want a guy that you can just put out there and say, we don't have to worry about Trevon. We don't have to worry about Moehrig. He's going to do what he's supposed to do all the time. We don't have to worry about them. A lot of times in the defensive backfield, when you're dealing with 4 guys or 5 guys when you count the nickel, you're dealing with guys who you might have to worry about this guy getting big deep. You might have to worry about this guy in press coverage. You might have to worry about that guy in the slot. Trevon Moehrig allows you to not have to worry about him or what he can get done. You just put him out there and he can play. He can do his job, and he's going to do his job every single play. And that allows the coaches to put more emphasis on Trayvon Mullen, put more practice and time into Damon Arnett or Hayward or whatever the case may be, Hobbs and Amik, right? Because you don't have to put that much time into Trevon Moehrig. You just put him out there and you let him play, okay? And that's why I'm super excited to get him. And that's why I think the expectations are so high on Trevon Moehrig, is because we all see what we're getting, and we hope that it transitions or transfers or translates onto the field on Sundays, and I think it will. So get down in the comments, let me know what you think. What are your expectations for Trevon Moehrig? I think they're sky high, rightfully so, and I think that he will deliver on every single expectation. So if you like the video, like the video. If you like the content on this channel, please subscribe to the channel. And until the next time, Raider Honcho out.